Frozen 2 Explained.
Today, we are stepping away from the storyboard and hanging out with the people board, because the Frozen 2 cast is one of those groups where every name makes you go, wait, of course that voice feels familiar. Kristen Bell as Anna is the perfect place to start. The Veronica Mars and the Good Place sparkle, softened into full Disney sincerity. She has always had that unusual mix of motor-mouth comedy and open-heartedness, which is exactly the sweet spot for voice acting.
And Belle never sounds like she is doing a princess voice in a glass case. She talks with her whole face. That is what I hear in Anna. Comic timing, plus that little crackle where a joke becomes a feeling.
Then Idina Menzel as Elsa is the Broadway sign flashing over the whole production. If you know Rent or Wicked, her voice already carries enormous stage musical history. Disney did not have to manufacture grandeur around her. She walks into the booth sounding ready for the back row.
What I like in the behind-the-scenes material is that Menzel talks about vulnerability like it is part of the job. She is not just hitting big notes, she is letting the vocal take sound alive.
Jonathan Groff as Kristoff is a different flavor of theater kid excellence. He has Spring Awakening, Hamilton, Mindhunter, and then this lovable mountain guy register, which is a wild resume spread. Groff has that clean, bright voice where you hear the musical training, but he is also great at sounding bashful without getting small.
Groff also gives you this funny contrast. On stage, he can be laser precise, and in animation, he loosens up with pauses, breaths, and conversational half sounds. The tiny stuff does as much work as the singing.
Josh Gad as Olaf is the chaos engine, affectionately. Gad comes from the Book of Mormon and fast comedy work, so the booth is basically room to bounce. One of the best-known Frozen voice stories is that Gad's improv helped shape Olaf's personality, with early bits coming from play rather than over-planning.
Yes, and in Making Frozen 2 Conversations, Gad talks about animation as a huge collaborative process where everybody keeps refining. That feels very Olaf adjacent. Chase the laugh, find the heart, trim the extra, try again.
Sterling K. Brown joining as Lieutenant Matthias is smart casting because Brown has that instant, I trust this person has thought deeply about everything sound. People know him from This Is Us and Black Panther, where he can be warm, intense, and grounded. Even in a voice role, he arrives with credibility packed in. He does not need to push for importance. The microphone finds it.
And he has one of those voices that can make a short line feel like it has a biography attached. Brown's voice has authority, but it is not stiff. There is humanity under the posture.
Evan Rachel Wood as Iduna brings a different glow. A lot of people place her from Westworld, where her voice can be calm and porcelain sharp, but she also has singing in her background from Across the Universe. For Iduna, that combination matters. Clear tone, emotional control, and a lullaby quality without syrup.
She is a great example of casting by vocal color. You hear her near Belle and Menzel in the same family sound world without copying either of them. It feels musical before anyone talks about songs.
Behind all of that, Jennifer Lee belongs in the center of the conversation. She directed with Chris Buck, wrote the screenplay, and during this period was also leading Walt Disney Animation creatively. That is a lot of hats, and none of them are light. The interesting thing with Lee is that she talks about the studio process as a room full of people improving an idea together, not one genius handing down answers.
Lee has said she grew up loving behind-the-scenes Disney specials, which is a sweet full-circle detail because Frozen 2 later had cameras inside the process for Into the Unknown. She clearly wants audiences to see the artists, technicians, actors, revisions, and nerves.
Chris Buck, her co-director, brings the long Disney animation muscle. His background includes Tarzan and the first Frozen, so he knows how to steer a giant musical without losing character comedy. He and Lee are a nice pairing: experience, warmth, and a willingness to keep reworking until the movie can stand up.
And Peter Del Vecho, as producer, is the person I picture with the calmest clipboard in the building. Animated features mean years of schedules, budgets, voice records, animation reviews, and tiny emergencies. Del Vecho had already produced the first Frozen and The Princess and the Frog, so this was not his first weather system.
I also love that Kristen Anderson-Lopez and Robert Lopez hover around this cast conversation because the voices and songs are so intertwined. Anderson-Lopez has described writing as private and playful, the kind where you act things out before they are polished. Perfect image. Grown professionals making room for silliness. Because that is how the clean, emotional version appears. It explains why these performances feel shaped for specific humans, not just anonymous good singers.
That is the charm of this group. Bell brings fast comedy. Menzel brings the volcanic theater voice. Groff brings sweetness. Gadd brings improvisational electricity. Brown brings grounded weight. Wood brings warmth. Then Lee, Buck, and Vecho build the room where those ingredients can meet.
Exactly. Frozen 2 works as a cast and creators hang, because it is stacked with people who are recognizable without being interchangeable. You can hear stage careers, TV careers, comedy rooms, Disney animation experience, and documentary-level collaboration braided together.
So the next time someone says, "Why do these animated voices feel so specific?" This is the answer. It is Bell being brightly sincere, Menzel going full Broadway weather, Gadd turning play into timing, and a creative team giving those performances a place to land. Pretty good bonus track reason to keep listening.